Hello and welcome to another Brawny's Great Video Games playthrough. Today we have a brand new game review. Yes, that's right, I'm not going retro. For one video only, this is a review of a brand new game. I got pre-release review code for it and everything. So I should point out, thanks to the publisher, I went and got the review code for this because I'd seen it bouncing around on Twitter, the game, not the review code, and I'd really liked the look of what I saw, so I went investigating to find out if I could get a copy. Sure enough I could, so here's me reviewing Robbotto on the Nintendo Switch. Enjoy! This is an indie, retro-themed single-screen puzzle platformer, the type of game that is right up my alley. For review purposes, this is both good and bad. Good because it means I'm bound to like the basic concept of the game, and bad because I've played a lot of games like this, so I've got a huge range of stuff to compare it to. Before I get into the review proper, I should point out that one thing this game has done is reawakened my love of indie games. It's been ages since I played a proper indie title, and I know that I ought to play more of them than I do, because normally I love them. Part of the reason is that I don't have as much time to play games as I used to have, so my choice of game is much more limited. And part of the reason is I never really know what's out there. Most of my gaming at the moment is done on my Switch. And if you haven't looked at it, the Nintendo eShop is, well, awkward to navigate would be my polite way of phrasing it. It's fine, unless the thing you're looking for is not in the new releases that came out that day or the chart, in which case you'll never find it unless you're already searching for it. But Robbotto has made me realise that I need to pay more attention to things. I need to start finding out what are the good indie releases, both on Switch and on other platforms, and I need to make sure I'm playing those as well, because there's always some really good fun to be had there. Now back to the game. As gameplay goes, I'd seen a lot of reference to this being an equivalent to Bubble Bobble, but with robots. And I'd agree, if you're looking for an easy one-line description of the game, then that will do fine. I personally don't really love defining one game by another though, and couple that with the fact that there are some people out there who've never played Bubble Bobble, then I'll break it down a little bit more for you. You play a small robot, or two small robots if you're playing in co-op mode, and your objective is to clear the enemies from every screen. You do this by combining your two weapons. First you electrocute them in order to stun them and make them vulnerable, and then you spray them with water, causing them to explode and come to a halt. Once you've finished clearing all the enemies on one screen, you pick up the little items they drop to increase your score, then jump in the portal and go to the next level. You repeat this 9 times, and then the 10th time you'll reach a boss level where the robot you have to destroy is different and usually takes 3 separate hits. And that's pretty much it for the details of the gameplay, but the important part is how much fun it is, and believe me, it is a lot of fun. The game's very well structured when it comes to levels, difficulty and enemies, the 3 areas that can make or break a game like this. The first few levels are easy enough to act as a tutorial, while at the same time fun enough that you keep playing, and then new enemy types are introduced every time you feel you're just getting the hang of it. You start off just having to make sure the bad guys don't walk into you, and then a few levels down the line you're avoiding bullets and dropping down an infinite hole, thanks to the traditional wraparound screen, to try and destroy an enemy every time you drop past them. And the difficulty ramps up at a very suitable pace. You only get 3 lives, and 1 touch from any enemy will destroy you straight away. So on levels where you have to experiment with the best way of getting through, you'll find that you lose all 3 lives very quickly, but the continue function just pops you straight back into the action on the level you died on, and you get infinite continues, well, on normal difficulty at any rate. Graphically, it's a gorgeous looking retro-styled game. Everything's very clear, easy to see and delightful to look at, although I don't need to tell you that, you're looking at it right now. The audio is perfectly styled to suit the game, and while I didn't find much of the music particularly memorable, it was a perfect accompaniment to the game. So with all this praise I'm heaping on Robbotto, you think the game is brilliant, yes? Well, it's almost brilliant. It's on the edge of brilliant. It's this far from brilliant. But it isn't quite there. The first thing I noticed that I had any problems with was the controls. Again, like the rest of the game, they're almost perfect. You move at a good speed, your jump arc is very clear once you get used to it. But for me, there seems to be a slight delay between when you stop pressing the direction you want to walk in and your character stopping. I lost track of the many times that I accidentally walked into the back of an enemy while trying to sneak up on them and dispose of them. And yes, some of that might be my old man reflexes, and it is far better with the D-pad buttons than with the analog stick, but it happened a few too many times for my liking. It's absolutely not a game breaker though, and as I say, I am not discounting the fact that it might just be my playing that's at fault. Another very weird problem I notice is the lack of multiple game saves. Obviously the game works like every other Switch game, so it saves your game under whichever account you boot it up as. However, it only lets you have one, unless I've missed something, which means if you choose to start again for some reason, like for example you're doing a YouTube video and then you accidentally power off your capture device before it's finished saving the video, and then you have to go back and start again because you corrupted all the original files, then the game starts a brand new one, wiping your progress on the original attempt. Your high scores remain obviously, but you cannot then jump back into the older save file to continue that game. And the really weird thing is that this seems to apply with co-op as well. If I start a new co-op game, it seems to remove my single player save game. And I can't find a way to do drop in, drop out co-op. So you can't easily go from a co-op game to a single player game without starting them in separate Nintendo accounts. These are only very minor issues though, and they really didn't stop me having a lot of fun with this little game. Available at the moment for less than a tenner, this game is definitely one that I would recommend. I stopped giving ratings to games ages ago on these videos, but if I was going to give this game one, it'd be about 8.5 out of 10. It's pretty damn good, with just a few tweaks could make it even better. But hey, it costs less than a decent lunch, so 8.5's pretty bloody good. Go out, buy it, put it on your Switch. You'll be supporting the indie world. You'll have a great game to play. Everybody wins!